According to NASA, Explorer is the most distant object made by humans inside the universe. It is delivering useful records to Earth once more. It exists within the universe, and we do not have any idea what it is, other than the fact that we can measure it. The infamous spacecraft Explorer 1, which was off by NASA for more than 4.5 decades, has recently sent back a message that has shocked people through the educational network. Following nearly 14 billion miles of travel to Earth, Explorer 1 has discovered something so large that it has altered the course of its mission, reorienting itself to include our planet in this grand adventure. 7 minutes ago, Explorer 1 triggered an alarming discovery, turning toward Earth. But what exactly could this revelation mean? Could it be evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials? Or something even more unfathomable? In this fascinating study, we will investigate Explorer 1's thrilling discoveries. The twin Explorer probe's records suggest that if certain divine events had not occurred, two of the most remarkable rockets ever sent off might never have left Earth. In this instance, it was the four largest planets aligning in our planetary system around 60 years ago. The positions of these planets were moving in a way that had previously occurred during the administration of Thomas Jefferson in the 19th century. This exciting planetary arrangement was largely ignored until Gary Flandreau, pursuing a doctorate in flight at the California Institute of Technology, recognized its significance. Back in 1965, when space exploration was just beginning, Flandreau was working part-time at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. He was tasked with determining the most efficient approach for sending a space probe to Jupiter or even farther, to Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune. With a straightforward pencil, he meticulously plotted the orbital paths of these large planets and made an enthralling discovery. At the end of the 1970s and mid-1980s, all four planets would align in such a way that they could be visited in a single mission. This alignment meant that a spacecraft could use the gravitational pull of each planet to slingshot itself to the next, reducing travel time. Flandreau discovered that this alignment could cut the flight time between Earth and Neptune from 30 years to just 12. However, there was a catch. This planetary alignment occurred only once every 176 years. To take advantage of this rare opportunity, a spacecraft would need to be launched by the mid-1970s. NASA seized this once-in-a-lifetime chance and built spacecraft to join Explorer 1 and Explorer 2 on their journey. These two spacecraft were launched on an extraordinary mission to explore the outer planets in our solar system. Thanks to planetary alignment and Flandreau's visionary calculations, the twin Explorer probes embarked on their grand adventure. On September 5, 1977, at Cape Canaveral, Florida, Explorer 1 was launched by a powerful Titan III Centaur rocket. Only 15 days later, Explorer 2 was launched on August 20th, 1977, marking the start of its journey into the vast universe. Their main goal was to explore the gigantic gas giants of our solar system, Jupiter, Saturn, and their numerous moons. However, these brave space travelers exceeded all expectations. They ventured far beyond the boundaries of exploration, remaining in space longer than any other historical spacecraft. They broke numerous records on their inspiring odyssey, achieving feats beyond anything humans had previously accomplished before entering interstellar space. Now, despite being more than 12 billion miles away from us, Explorer 1 and Explorer 2 continue to surprise researchers with groundbreaking discoveries. Most recently, they made a discovery so startling that it has taken everyone by surprise. The twin Explorer probes have achieved numerous remarkable feats. Long ago, they studied the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, surprising scientists who initially believed them to be barren and dull, much like our moon. Instead, these moons proved to be hubs of dynamic activity. Explorer 1 made history by becoming the first of the twins to swing by Uranus in 1986. Just 3 years later, it accomplished its goal by zooming past Neptune, an achievement unequaled by any other spacecraft. As the spacecraft continued their intricate journey, NASA employed clever techniques to ensure their longevity. Non-essential elements, such as extra heaters in certain parts, were shut down to conserve power. The primary objective was to keep the spacecraft operational until at least 2025. For the dedicated scientists and engineers who have been part of this mission from its inception, it is a mix of emotions, pride that their work has paid off, and awe at the mission's endurance. Just when it seemed like the Explorer missions were nearing their end, a shocking discovery emerged from the depths of space. At the start of their grand journey 40 years ago, the Explorer spacecraft stunned specialists by providing the first close-up views of Jupiter's and Saturn's moons. These moons, once thought by astronomers to be dull and heavily cratered like our own moon, proved to be dynamic and fascinating. Explorer 1 reached Jupiter in March 1979, only 546 days after its launch. Explorer 2, following a slightly different trajectory, arrived in July of that same year. Each spacecraft was equipped with specialized cameras with filters capable of capturing color photographs. These cameras were designed to rotate through space at a rate more than 40 times slower than the hour hand of a clock, ensuring lucid and sharp images. The explorers captured more than 33 images of Jupiter and its moons, each one revealing surprising new information. One of the most significant findings was that Europa, one of Jupiter's 53 named moons, has a cracked, icy surface estimated to be more than 60 miles thick. As the spacecraft used Jupiter's gravitational slingshot, their speed increased by 35,700 miles per hour, propelling them closer to interstellar space. At Saturn, the explorers took separate paths. Explorer 1 passed through Saturn's magnificent rings, enduring thousands of tiny dust particle impacts before flying past Titan, a moon enveloped in an orange haze. Meanwhile, Explorer 2 continued its mission, reaching Uranus and Neptune. During its visit to Uranus in 1986, Explorer 2 discovered 10 new moons and confirmed that Uranus, like Saturn, also has rings. However, its accomplishments were overshadowed by tragedy. Just 4 days after its closest approach to Uranus, the Challenger spacecraft tragically exploded shortly after liftoff, killing all 7 crew members, including Krista McAuliffe, a high school teacher from New Hampshire who was set to become the first civilian in space. 3 years later, as Explorer 2 flew over Neptune's stunning sky-blue, methane-rich atmosphere, it encountered the fastest winds ever recorded on any planet in our solar system, reaching speeds of up to 1,000 miles per hour. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, turned out to be one of the coldest regions in our solar neighborhood, with surface temperatures plunging to minus 235 degrees Fahrenheit. Another extraordinary discovery was Triton's frozen volcanoes, which shoot nitrogen gas and particles miles into its atmosphere. After capturing mesmerizing images of Neptune and its moons, both spacecraft were scheduled to shut down their cameras, marking the end of their official mission. However, astronomer Carl Sagan, a member of the mission's imaging crew, intervened. NASA extended the mission in hopes. This phenomenon is due to the way interstellar plasma interacts with the solar wind. The boundary between the heliosphere and interstellar space, known as the heliopause, marks a transition where the sun's influence wanes and the interstellar medium dominates. The data from Explorer 1 confirmed that beyond this boundary, the density of particles increases due to compression and interactions with cosmic rays from distant stars. This revelation was a monumental breakthrough in understanding the structure of our solar system's outermost limits. For decades, scientists theorized about what lay beyond the heliosphere, but until Explorer 1 crossed this threshold, there was no direct evidence. Its plasma wave instrument picked up radio emissions from charged particles, confirming that it had entered a region filled with matter originating from other stars. The unexpected turn of Explorer 1. While this was already a groundbreaking achievement, the most shocking event came just recently when Explorer 1 made an unexpected course adjustment. Instead of continuing its journey outward into deep space, the spacecraft appeared to shift its trajectory, turning slightly back toward Earth. Scientists at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory were baffled. No commands have been sent to alter the probe's course, and with its onboard systems largely inactive except for essential instruments, such a maneuver seemed impossible. The last recorded trajectory correction had occurred decades ago. Yet, something had triggered a response from the spacecraft. Telemetry data indicated that on February 18, 2025, Explorer 1's magnetometer and plasma wave instruments detected an unusual fluctuation in the surrounding space environment. The readings suggested a disturbance in the interstellar medium, something strong enough to affect the spacecraft's movement. Could it have been an unknown gravitational anomaly, a shift in the interstellar plasma, or something entirely beyond current scientific understanding? A message from the void. Adding to the mystery, the radio instruments on Explorer 1 detected a peculiar signal embedded within the background noise of space. Unlike natural cosmic radiation, which follows predictable patterns, this signal exhibited characteristics of structured modulation, suggesting it was not random. The signal repeated in intervals, resembling a coded transmission. Scientists scrambled to decode it, analyzing the frequency and patterns, attempting to determine if it was a natural phenomenon or something artificial. Some researchers speculated that it could be an unknown astrophysical event, while others whispered the possibility that it was a message, one not from Earth. The implications of the discovery. If the signal is indeed artificial, it could mean one of two things. 1. We are detecting remnants of an ancient civilization's transmissions, long since extinct but still echoing through space. 2. Something alive or aware is out there, attempting to communicate. Either possibility is profound. If it's a signal from an extinct civilization, it means intelligent life existed elsewhere in the universe. If it's a live transmission, it means we are not alone, and whoever is sending it may already be aware of our presence. What happens next? NASA, along with international space agencies and independent researchers, is now racing to analyze the data. The SETI Institute, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, has been brought in to cross-reference the signal with previously recorded anomalies. Meanwhile, the Deep Space Network is attempting to re-establish stable communication with Explorer 1 to determine whether the spacecraft systems have been affected by an external force. But the biggest question remains unanswered. What caused Explorer 1 to change course? If the spacecraft is reacting to something in deep space, is it merely responding to a physical phenomenon, or is it being influenced by something deliberate? As we wait for more data to be processed, one thing is clear. Explorer 1's journey is far from over, and the mysteries of interstellar space are only just beginning to unfold. The density of electrons at the outer edges of the heliosphere is much lower than on Earth's surface. Through Explorer's analysis, scientists found that the spacecraft's specific flight date was August 25, 2012. This determination was based not only on electron movement, but also on solar charge measurements, particles that the spacecraft gathered on that pivotal day for the Explorer team. This announcement was a wonderful source of enthusiasm and pride. Susan Dodd, the mission director, expressed the team's joy, saying, "We are pleased to have been able to keep working with the Explorers and to see it achieve this remarkable step toward reaching interstellar space." Ed Stone, a key figure in the Explorer missions right from the start, emphasized the significance of this accomplishment in expanding our comprehension of space. According to him, Explorer 1 has led us to brand new findings by giving us the first view of this new region, increasing our scientific knowledge of the nature of energy and radiation in space. Explorer 2 also crossed into interstellar space in November 2018, venturing into an unknown region beyond the sun's protective bubble that shields us from cosmic radiation. But the truly astonishing news comes from Explorer 1. After an extraordinary 46 years, NASA's Explorer 1 spacecraft, the most distant human-made object in space, continues to send important information back to Earth. Despite its unprecedented distance of over 14.7 billion miles, the spacecraft remains operational, although its primary mission concluded long ago. Here's where things get really interesting. Explorer 1 recently made an incredible discovery that has left researchers puzzled and deeply concerned. Rarely has such an event occurred in space. The spacecraft began sending data back to NASA, revealing an anomaly in its trajectory. The data indicated signals that contained information about an unknown phenomenon, one that defied explanation. This anomaly appeared to suggest the presence of a huge, previously undetected object exerting a tremendous gravitational pull, distorting the spacecraft's path. The discovery shook the scientific community to its core, sparking a whirlwind of speculation. Could it be a rogue planet, a black hole, or something even more extraordinary? The implications are staggering. If confirmed, this newly discovered object may dramatically change our fundamental understanding of the universe. NASA has assembled an emergency team of scientists to investigate further, utilizing all available resources to analyze the data and potentially redirect Explorer 1 to gather additional information. This shocking twist in the journey of Explorer 1 serves as a reminder of the vast unknown beyond our planet, an enduring spirit of exploration that drives humanity to seek answers in the far reaches of space. The spacecraft, equipped with 3 thermoelectric radioisotope generators, had an estimated operational life of 4 to 12 years. Remarkably, Explorer 1 has far exceeded expectations, maintaining its mission for an astonishing 45 years. Unlike solar panels, these radioisotope thermoelectric generators produce energy by harnessing the heat from the radioactive decay of plutonium-238. Despite this impressive perseverance, NASA estimates that by 2025, the Explorer spacecraft may no longer be able to generate enough power to operate its instruments and transmit data back to Earth. During routine communication through NASA's Deep Space Network, something extraordinary occurred. After over 40 years of uninterrupted data transmission, NASA's computer systems on Earth began receiving an unusual signal that left everyone concerned. For the first time in its mission, Explorer 1 suddenly halted its journey and performed a complete 180-degree turn. The NASA team was amazed as they watched. Explorer 1, which had faithfully traveled in one direction for nearly half a century, had somehow executed an unfathomable course correction. A spacecraft without a propellant system capable of plotting its own trajectory had, in some way, altered its path. Scientists and engineers scrambled to make sense of the data. Had the spacecraft encountered an unknown force? Was it responding to an external signal? Or had someone or something intentionally redirected it? To rule out a system's malfunction, NASA engineers carefully examined Explorer 1's telemetry. The spacecraft's onboard systems appeared to be functioning normally. There was no indication of a mechanical failure, nor had it lost contact with Earth. However, the signal it transmitted carried strange, indecipherable data, unlike anything previously received. A signal from the unknown. As weeks passed, NASA's Deep Space Network continued to monitor Explorer 1's transmissions. Then, on a quiet morning at Mission Control, an extraordinary event occurred. A new sequence of signals emerged, structured, rhythmic, and eerily deliberate. At first, the pattern seemed random. But as scientists decoded the data, they discovered something remarkable. The signal consisted of a series of prime numbers. Prime numbers, numbers divisible only by 1 in themselves, do not occur naturally in space. They are often considered a potential form of extraterrestrial communication. The realization sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Could this be evidence of intelligent life? If so, had Explorer 1 responded to an outside signal? Or had it stumbled upon something beyond human understanding? NASA immediately assembled a top team of the world's leading astrophysicists, mathematicians, and cryptographers to analyze the mysterious transmission. The discovery was too significant to be dismissed as a mere anomaly. Attempts to decipher the signal intensified. Days turned into weeks as supercomputers processed the received data. Then, finally, a breakthrough. Scientists uncovered a secondary layer of information embedded within the transmission. More than just numbers, it contained a collection of complex waveforms suggesting an encoded image. Excitement turned to trepidation as NASA's computers reconstructed the image. What they saw defied belief. On the screens appeared a star-shaped pattern, an intricate map of celestial coordinates. But what truly stunned the team was the distinct presence of a symbol at its center, a shape eerily reminiscent of Explorer 1 itself. The implication was staggering. Whoever, or whatever, had sent this signal knew about Explorer 1. More importantly, they had been expecting it. The countdown begins. As speculation mounted, NASA faced an agonizing decision. Should they attempt to send a response? And if so, what should they say? Every possibility was considered. Had humanity just made first contact? Or had Explorer 1 inadvertently stumbled upon something that was never meant to be found? The most terrifying discovery yet lay embedded deep within the star chart, a sequence resembling a countdown. But a countdown to what? With only days remaining before the sequence reached zero, the entire world prepared for what was to come. NASA had no choice but to take action before the clock struck.